so welcome back to my channel. I wanted to take you through kind of a really chatty vlog on our house hunting process, at least the beginnings of it anyway. So yeah, if you're interested in that, then just keep watching. And then at the end, I'm gonna share some of my top tips. So I hope you enjoy. Just to let you know, we are building a house. I can say that now because we did secure a purchase contract, which is great. And we're definitely still in the middle of the process. We have a lot to go, but I am so interested in this type of stuff. And I wonder if you are too. So I just kind of wanted to film the process. And yeah, some of the information is sensitive, of course, so you can't, film everything. So that's why it's super chatty. And then, like I said, I'll share my tips as well so far. Okay, so this is day one proper of looking at homes. So we met with our realtor a week and a half, 2 weeks ago for the first time, but we were heading out of town. And so we got all the intro stuff done. And then we decided to go look at some homes this weekend when we got back. So the first community, I didn't even take any pictures just because it was not even worth it. I did not like the model home. I did not like the floor plans. Like, it was just so constricting for like a single family home. Like, I just didn't really like it at all. So I didn't take any pictures. So the first community was a bust. The second one we actually liked, but it's like, but it's like so far out in the burbs. Like, it's far out. We already live in a state, in an area that's kind of like the country. It's not super like densely populated, but this place was like really out there. And while like we love the floor plans and the homes and stuff like that, yeah, we looked at some of the floor plans and the pricing and things like that. And so we're going tomorrow to look at another area. We'll see kind of what it's like there. Yeah, so that's kind of a recap of day one. Also, this morning we met with a loan broker, answered a lot of our questions, and he was really, really good. So we were able to learn a lot there. But I'm just gonna keep vlogging like each time we do kind of house stuff. And we are building a new construction home as far as we know right now. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. I have a lot of floor plans and things to look through. There's still so many places we haven't even seen. So that I may like better, that he may like better, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. Anyway, that wraps it up for our first day house hunting. I'm gonna vlog again tomorrow. See what's happening, see what's going on, and I'll keep you updated, of course. But now I'm at home, having a glass of wine, watching some Modern Family, decompressing, because it's kind of a lot. We were gone all day. So yeah. Okay, we're back. Day 2 house hunting. Today was kind of like so bittersweet because we found a builder and a house with a floor plan that we really like. But it's like in the middle of freaking nowhere. I mean, it's 30 minutes from, the city where we live, but it's like a long 30 minutes, and it's in a neighborhood that's definitely more rural. And so we're kind of like debating because it has basically like 95% of everything we would have wanted above and beyond, in a first time house. But it's just like the neighborhood, man, the neighborhood is, I don't know. It's not amazing. So then we also went to look at some townhome communities, but we're looking for like a larger townhome, like one with 4 bedrooms or like 3 bedrooms and a flex space type of thing. So we found a couple of those. We're going to make some appointments to go see them, but they look pretty promising online. So we're looking at 2 different builders there in a couple of different areas, but the areas are really nice. But I think we just kind of saw that first floor plan and we were like, it was perfect. I took pictures. So I'm gonna try to insert some, but it was just amazing. A perfect space, has room for a hot tub in the back and a fire pit and like all this type of stuff. But we still have some townhomes to see. And then we're also gonna go see some single family homes by this specific builder that we like. So we might also, be in the market for one of those too. And then we'll hopefully see what happens. But lots to do. It was definitely a bittersweet day. So our next action step tonight is going to be to fill out our pre-qualification just to see officially like what type of budget that we're working with. We had like an idea before, but now we're getting the official one. So because now that we're narrowing down, you know, kind of like what we're looking for, what we want. We want to be ready to kind of jump on an opportunity if need be. So we're going to do that tonight. Hopefully get the pre-qualification tomorrow. And then this week, we're going to go see some additional options. So we'll keep you updated, but it was like an up and down type of day. We were out literally all day, just like looking at houses, driving around, looking at neighborhoods. And we looked at 2 communities where we could really get a lot of house, but just the neighborhoods were not ideal. Like, you know, when you close your eyes and picture it, it's just not, you know, ideal. And you have to like kind of make those decisions when you're making a big purchase like this. It's like you'll get one thing, you have to sacrifice some others. You got to find out what's most important to you and prioritize and blah, 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 which we knew. But it's just different kind of seeing it. Like, it's interesting, the dichotomy of like, the house is amazing, but like where it's located, and it's going to be located there. It's your home for the next X amount of years. You don't really know what things are going to look like, you know, all of that. Ugh. Okay, we are day 4 house hunting. We're filling up the tank right now. And if you're watching this, it is March 22nd, 2022 today. And right now, gas prices are really high because of everything that's going on in the world right now. Yeah, house hunting, and not an ideal time driving like to Timbuktu and back because gas prices are super high. But, you know, my husband and I work at home, so we don't have to drive too much normally. We're getting gas. We're going to go see kind of our number 3 in the neighborhoods. We've been kind of hanging around number 1 and number 2. And so today we're going to go out to the neighborhood and look at the neighborhood, see how we're digging it, see how we're feeling it. And if we like it, then we'll probably get an appointment scheduled to see a floor plan. And then I'll also give you an update on yesterday. So yesterday was kind of a big day. I had a couple of hours free. So I went to one of our top 2 neighborhoods, and I was able to tour a specific floor plan that we were interested in. So I did that. I got a lot of information about the HOAs and, you know, stipulations in the neighborhood and all that from the representative, the sales representative. So I did that. Yeah, I saw a few different homes and floor plans, and they also let me walk through a floor plan where they don't have a model. So I was able to kind of walk through. It had like basic, like not the flooring that you'll see when you move in, but it had some floors in it. It had some cabinets in it. So they very nice. Let me walk through and see. So we were able to get a good idea. Then we also got our pre-qualification back, which is great. So we got approved for the amount that we were looking for, pre-qualified for the amount we were looking for anyway. And then we went later on in the afternoon to one of the country neighborhoods again to take my husband's father so he can give us his opinion and just kind of show him the neighborhood and things like that. So ultimately we were able to rule out some of like our top 4 and 5 options and kind of land on, you know, our top 3 floor plans and things like that. So it was a great day, a busy day. And then now we're moving on to day 4, looking at our number 3, seeing how we feel on that. And then we may or may not rule that out. And then tomorrow, which I'll talk about it then, we have an appointment for a specific floor plan that we're interested in at like 4 p.m. So we'll keep you updated. And yeah, this is a process, but so far, you know, things are going great. And I think that we have a good idea narrowed down on all that good stuff and floor plans and all that, which is very helpful. But they have the models done enough, so at least you can kind of visualize, which is cool. Okay, so I just want to give a recap because it was a very busy day today, house hunting. So I don't think I updated you yesterday after we drove to that neighborhood. So it definitely wasn't bad. The neighborhood was so new that we could definitely see kind of what the house was going to be like. I don't want to say it was almost finished. However, definitely the exterior was pretty much finished on the model. So we can kind of see that. But the neighborhood was a little out there. And I think for the price, you know, like we were, you know, potentially looking closer and things. So anyway, that's pretty much how yesterday ended. And today we had a meeting with a townhome builder that we were interested in a certain area in town. So We met with the representative at 4:30, and she walked us through kind of what was available currently, like what was going to close in June, July, what was going to close in August, September, kind of how they release their homes and all the specs and blah, blah, blah. So that was eye-opening, and we think that we potentially found an option that has majority of what we're looking for. We aren't super crazy about the neighborhood, so the location is great, but the actual neighborhood, and what I mean by that is it doesn't have like a lot of amenities. And I think that's pretty typical for a strictly townhome community. So if your townhomes also are in a community with some standalone homes, or a lot of them anyway, you know, you may have some more of those amenities like a pool and things like that. But this community is pretty small. There's no pool, there's no like pool access, you know, none of that stuff. So it's, you know, the location that we're primarily going for. The price is good. You know, it has the fixtures that we like because it is an inventory home, meaning the builder kind of already chose everything. So we don't really get to customize anything. And so we were looking at the different models, and they can kind of show you what fixtures are going to be where and blah, 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 as best as they can. It's really crazy because like you're spending all this money on something that you're not even really able to see. Like with models, builders have so many different collections and different floor plans that, you know, they're not going to build a model in each one. And so you kind of have to visualize, you know, understand floor plans. And hopefully with a good builder, they have lots of resources for you to see the light fixtures and the handles and the countertops and like all that type of stuff. So that's basically what we were looking through. And so after discussing, you know, the particular unit that we're interested in, it's an interior unit, meaning that we have to share 2 walls instead of like an in unit where we only are sharing 1 wall. So it's like we get the number of bedrooms that we want and all that, but we're going to be in an interior unit, which is not as big of a deal here because it's 3 stories, so not so bad. And also what we didn't like about this floor plan was there's a powder room, aka a half bath, right off of the kitchen, which is like, who does that? When I was talking to one of my friends, and she was like, oh yeah, probably if there's a bathroom right above it, they did it for plumbing and it's easy and blah, blah, blah. So we're like, whatever, like worst comes to worst, we just don't use it. Or it's a number 1 only, you know what I'm saying? So there's just like little things like that where it's like, it's difficult to get every single thing. And like, I knew that, of course, but it's difficult kind of being in a rock and a hard place, especially with the market so hot. It's like you have to be, and I'm decisive, but you have to be like ready and understanding kind of like the things that you are getting up, your pros and cons, and what's a deal breaker. Like it is like so crazy when it comes to a house or a house that you're building. I mean, it's the same with the house that you, like a resale home. And I watch a lot of HGTV, so I watch a lot of these homes, and it's like there's so many pros and cons and blah, blah, blah. But it's just, until you're in the situation, it's so difficult to even conceptualize like equally loving something and like disliking something at the same time. It's so crazy. But we're doing our best to try not to go into this with, like, this is our first home. And so like, you're not going to get everything you want anyway, but you're really not going to get everything you want with your first home. But I think the big things, at least I am, you know, comfortable with, I can live with, I like the area. It's most similar to kind of the lifestyle that we're living now, etc. And my partner is kind of like, he understands that, but it's just like, I think we went into it with a totally different thing about like being able to customize so many more things and whatever, but that's just not what's happening for us. So we're getting there. So after kind of narrowing all that stuff down, you know, from the past 4 days, 5 days that we've started since Saturday, actually looking at neighborhoods, we are now getting our pre-approval letter. So, you know, we got pre-qualified, and now we need a pre-approval letter where we actually send over documents. So identification documents and bank statements and tax returns and all that stuff. So I've sent mine in. My husband has retired already, so he'll be sending his in tomorrow. And so hopefully we will get a pre-approval letter and we're able to make an offer tomorrow. And the interesting thing about this builder, and every builder is different, so there'll be different rules and different clauses and all that. For the first day, it is bidding. So they release their homes on their website. So you have to look at their homes on their website. They release every Wednesday, and they show you the home sites and all that good stuff. And then the first 24 hours, bid on it. So people who are interested in that particular home, floor plan, etc. And so after the 24 hours at 5 p.m. on the Thursday, then it's first come, first served. Is that how you say that? And so, yeah, we may or may not even get this home. It feels good to me. I mean, I don't know. It feels like might be it, but it's very easy to get like pushed out. But I think it's like definitely our best option. And, you know, I think once we kind of get over this hump and like get our offer approved and all that, I'll be able to like really get excited about it. And I don't think I mentioned, so this home will close like in August or September. So that'll be kind of the time frame when we would move in. What else? So yeah, it closes in August or September. After we get our pre-approval letter, we send it over to the representative. Then we kind of get a contract appointment. So basically where we sit down with a realtor, with the representative, she walks us through the contract. Then there we pay our builder's deposit, which in our case is going to be 3% of the home's value. So we'll have to pay that there. And then, you know, you pay the remaining balances at closing, which in our case will be August, September. Of course, they can't guarantee because of any potential delays or whatever, but that's what they're estimating. And they said that they build in a buffer. So for, you know, any potential delays, but you never know. So if we do get this offer accepted, then we're going to have to, you know, figure out what's going, like our lease and all that, and adjust all those things because we re-signed for a year. So hopefully they'll let us kind of get another contract for a lesser amount of time, you know, when the offer is accepted and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I showered off the day. You know, it's been a long day and a lot has happened between Saturday and today. Today's Wednesday evening. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 days. So in the next couple of days, we may or may not have a contract and a home being built. So that's wild. But I'm liking the prospect, you know, and the options and all that. But of course, we'll be fine either way. So it's no big deal. Just grateful to kind of be here and, you know, have the options. So yeah, I know that talked for probably like 7 to 8 minutes. I'm going to hopefully cut all this stuff down and, you know, make it cohesive and nice. But I just want to definitely get out my thoughts while we're in the thick of it. But I talked to some of my friends and they were interested in buying a home in this area. And so they were like, buy two. Like, we wish you would have done it. We wish you would have built, you know, all this type of stuff. So it seems like a good opportunity, you know, for us to do and all that. Try to be the present moment. Tomorrow we may or may not have some more updates. Tomorrow we have to get with the loan broker and do the rest of the documents and hopefully we get the letter and blah, 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 blah. So I will chat with you guys tomorrow and we'll keep you updated on the status. Okay, I look crazy, but today has been a day. So we got up this morning, we uploaded our documents to the loan broker so that we can get our pre-approval letter. Then we decided to make an offer on the home. And at first we thought we were gonna have to wait because this builder's rules are, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but you can bid for the first 24 hours. Then around 1 o'clock, she said that they were able to offer it first come. So meaning like we had to send over some information. We're still I was supposed to get the letter like 20 minutes ago, but we are still waiting on the loan broker to email the pre-approval letter so that I can send it over to the new home advisor. But we think that we're gonna get it. Yeah, we put our whole life, you know, our whole business out there. Send over all the documents. I'm just like, I have going into a meeting in 10 minutes and I'm just like nervous about this pre-approval letter. Not nervous, but I'm not gonna be able to really focus until we get this letter and I emailed over. And so I know that we get this house. next steps will be our contract and purchasing agreement appointment, which is looking like it's going to be tomorrow, sometime before 12 noon, so that we can sign the purchase agreement and all that. We review it. We'll review it first and then sign it and all that good stuff, and then go from there. So that's fantastic news. I think as soon as we send the letter over and then we have the meeting tomorrow, we're pretty much good on like actual action items. So keep you updated, and then hopefully we'll be able to drive by and then like, you know, take a little picture. So I've just been talking to like my friends and my family about it so far today. I'm just like having people send us good vibes so that we actually get this contract, which is great. I've been on the phone all day talking to the realtor, the loan broker, everything, and it's just a lot going on, a very intense few days, because we literally just started actively driving around and looking on Saturday. It is the following Thursday. So things happen very quickly. Okay, we got our pre-approval letter. So I emailed it over. She has all the information that she needs. And we're just waiting for her to confirm the time of our contract appointment tomorrow. And then tonight, our realtor is going to go over the purchase agreement and all that before we go and sign something, obviously, to look through and comb through everything and time-sensitive information and fees and this, that, and the third. So now I can go to the rest of my meetings in peace. I have 3 more, and what a day. Okay, so we received our purchase agreement. We got our appointment set for the morning. I think I mentioned that. And I spent the last couple of hours pretty much just reading through the purchase agreement and writing down any questions I had to the best of my ability, like a first kind of pass through. I also had to call my bank to make sure that they knew about a large transaction that's going to be coming out, because we do have to pay a builder's deposit. And in our case, it's 3% of the purchase price of our home. So I had to notify them, because usually there's daily limits and things like that. So the specialist team is gonna like call me tomorrow. So I notified them of like when the transaction will be taking place and stuff like that. And now we're about to go meet with the realtor to go over the purchase contract. She'll take us through it before we need to meet in the morning. So that is all of that about what has happened. It's never ending, but I think after tomorrow, I'm sure there's gonna be another set of action items, but at least like we know we have it and all that. And then now kind of my thought process is gotta figure out the whole lease thing. And I think we're gonna go month to month, because our lease ends May 31st. We already re-signed for another year, not knowing that this was going to take place, but I think we're gonna go month to month. And then, you know, by the end of September, hopefully we'll be moved in. Our closing date right now is like September 11th-ish, 171 days from now. But it may be a little bit longer, so hopefully we'll at least have coverage until the end of September, which is good. So anyway, that's another little update. Home buying adventures, it's crazy. House update. So we had our contract meeting today. The representative, new home advisors, what they're called, went through basically line by line of this like 40-page purchase contract, which is great. And then I think I mentioned this to you guys, but last night I went through it and read all of it. We met with our realtor. So this time going through it all, I was like, I think everything is clicking. She answered all the questions, blah, 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 blah. Because there's a lot of, you know, just jargon in there that like the average person, you know, wouldn't use or understand or what have you. So that was good that she did that. We signed the purchase agreement, like 10 million signatures, which is on DocuSign, which is great. It makes it nice and easy. And then finally we paid our 3% builder's deposits. So that was depressing, but at least thankful again to have the coin, which is good. And now it'll just be kind of just recovering. We don't have any immediate action items or anything. We just have the contract sent off, and it has to be ratified, which basically means, you know, it's going to take up to a week for us to get it back. And it's like signed, sealed, delivered, and official in terms of the purchase agreement. So we'll get that back by the end of next week is what she said. We got all of our congratulations and stuff. And then once the contract is ratified, then it'll be officially sold, you know, to us. So we have it, you know, kind of on reserve technically right now. And then once it's ratified, then it'll be sold. It'll be ours. Like if we go drive by, it'll say sold, you know, it'll be sold. So that is that. I'm gonna probably have some champagne tonight. Good news. I think that's it in terms of this update. So it's so crazy because last Saturday is like when we had our first meeting with the loan broker, and then today, Friday, 7 days later, it's like, you bought a house, you know? So it's wild. Been texting my friends and stuff. And I have one friend who just did a new construction home. So I've been like chatting with her, and she's been giving me some tips and stuff. And we're supposed to be done. I think I mentioned this August, September, like the home is supposed to be done. But if we get in before Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'll be happy. And so also today, I'm gonna go down to the leasing office and ask them to switch our lease, because we did already sign it, to month, so that we don't have to worry about breaking a lease or anything like that. So it came at a good time, and I just want to go ahead and take care of that, even though our lease doesn't end for 2 months. So if we go month to month, then maybe, you know, we'll spend 4 months here going month to month, which is not bad. And it's really not that much more than our regular rent. Of course, it's a little bit extra, but like, we'll be fine, you know? And I got to get a spreadsheet together just to make sure that, you know, the finances, the saving schedule is such that, you know, we're going to be able to close what we need to close with approximately. You know, hopefully it'll be less. Usually it's a little more, really. But, you know, we have to have a large chunk of money there. So I'm just making sure that all that's squared away and that it's going to a specific account that we can easily access and all that good stuff, so that we are prepared when that happens. And if we close later, it will really be good. But I'm preparing to be ready, both he and I, my husband and I, by when they said, which is 170 days post contract ratification. And right now that would be like September 16th. So, or maybe even a little bit later. So I'm prepping to trying to have all the funds by then. But if we close in like October, November, we'll really be straight. So that's that. Oh, so also something else. So we have the option to have the builder put in. So the home comes with a range and an oven. It comes with a dishwasher. It comes with a microwave. So those are the 3 appliances that it comes with. We need to decide on the fridge, and we need to decide on the washer dryer. So also the blinds as well. So we had the option to have them put in blinds for the whole home, which was a certain amount. And our home has a lot of windows. Our future home has a lot of windows. And so we just went ahead and did that. Our realtor recommended that, or she didn't, you know, recommend and say you should do it, but she was just like, I think it's worth it, because especially it's the blinds in the entire home and you don't have to worry about it. You're going to walk in, they're already going to be there. So that's good. So we went and did that. And then basically we have 7 days from the time that our contract is ratified and comes back, which in our case is the end of next week, to decide whether or not we want them to put in the washer dryer and the fridge. And so they gave us a brochure of the options, but we're going to go look at some, see the prices and all that good stuff to see if we want to do that. So we just need to go look at some washer and dryers, and we need to look at the fridges. They look like they had a decent, you know, like selection of models of fridges. But the washer and dryers didn't really have a lot of options. So I definitely think we'll probably end up buying the washer and dryer, but we'll see. And then we could also have them just put in the fridge. So I don't know, we still have to go look, but that is also another action item that we have to do that's more or less time sensitive. So very random things. Okay, so house update. Yesterday we went and drove by to see what it looked like, because in our contract meeting she told us that we had framing up to the 2nd floor. Our home has 3 floors, our townhome. So we drove by to see it. I took a picture, so I'll try to put that in there. And that was pretty much it yesterday. And we were just kind of waiting for the contract to be ratified, which we got the contract back today. So they said that it could be, you know, Wednesday or Thursday of next week, Friday of next week. But we got it back today on Sunday, which is great. So that just means, as far as I know, that the seller signed the contract as well. And so it's like official, a fish, it's super fish. So we got that back, and our realtor sent us a note and said that she'll get back to us regarding next steps, because we'll likely have to do something next week in terms of lending, having a meeting with their preferred lender. They don't require you to use their preferred lender or even apply, but just to have a conversation with them, So we're probably gonna do that next week. And then also need to jump on looking at washers and dryers and refrigerators, like pricing those out and everything. So yeah, pretty cool. Hi, so house update. We're about to go into a meeting with the preferred lender because we do have to do that as a contractual obligation, have a conversation with them. So that's that, just to see if we want to go with them or go with the lender that we got our pre-qualification for. Also, we stopped by the house yesterday and they made a noticeable difference in the week, in a day or two that we saw it last to now. So when we first saw it, it had framing up to the second floor. Now it has framing up to the third floor, and most of the houses on the block have a deck now. So we're like, oh crap, they actually made a noticeable difference, which is crazy. I'll try to insert the pictures. And then finally, we did decide to not get their appliances. So we notified the the sales agent the other day about that. And that's pretty much it. So I think that I'm gonna end the vlog here, and then we're gonna pick up next with, house updates week to week and the things that I'm doing to try to prepare mentally and everything. So in terms of what we want to do with the space and how to organize and things like that. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on part 2. Okay, so now that you've seen all of the vlog footage, which is again literally me talking for freaking ever, I want to summarize the timeline. So first, we met with the realtor, our realtor in this case, whom we love and adore. And so she basically walked us through the process, kind of level set expectations, told us next steps, etc. So basically she advised us to kind of figure out our overarching wants and needs in that first initial meeting, and then kind of the initial steps to get pre-qualified along with looking. And also just to note, a lot of these steps can be done simultaneously. So just, grain of salt. But those were, that was the first steps, meeting with her. We determined our overarching wants and needs, which we took notes on, wrote down. Then we, at the same time, got pre-qualified and started looking. So we started looking on Saturday. We filled out an application on Sunday evening. And so we got our pre-qualification back Monday after we were already looking at neighborhoods and stuff. And then also from there, we kind of understood our timeline for getting a pre-approval letter so that we could, our offer could be accepted and things like that. We looked at several communities over 4 or 5 days, something like that, kind of drove around to different areas. Sometimes we would see 1 or 2 in a day, pretty much for the most part, 1 or 2 in a day. Then we kind of narrowed down our choices. So, a lot of things will eliminate themselves as you go and look, at different neighborhoods and things like that when you're building. It was actually a very interesting kind of psychological process. So, as you can see from my emotions. Then once we decided to, we narrowed everything down, we got our, top option. We did get pre-approved. So, we got pre-qualified. We put in an offer on we got pre-approved before we actually put in an offer. So we let her know that we were interested in this particular property, and then we were getting our pre-approval kind of at the same time. So then we got so basically when it comes to building, you don't get an offer accepted right away. It's just kind of more so you expressed interest, you want to make an offer, and you set a contract appointment. And so basically you have to be prepared to pay your funds there. And then they walk you through, at least in our case for this particular builder, they walked us through with our realtor on the call, all of the contracts. So it was around 40 pages. They walked us through the specs of our home, all of the clauses, this, that, and the third. Then we signed that, and then we paid our builder's deposit, which is, in our case, as I mentioned, was 3% of the total cost of the home. And then finally, we are currently in the process of handling all time-sensitive items. So, having a conversation with the preferred lender, determining whether or not we wanted their appliances, we already got our pre-approval letter, but there was a clause in our purchase agreement in a timeline of us getting a pre-approval, those types of things. So you just want to make sure you have those, your realtor hopefully is going to make sure that you're on top of all of those time-sensitive items and understand those. But yeah, that was pretty much it in terms of the process. And then I do want to touch on the timeline as well. So we met with our realtor at the beginning of March, and we did have a trip also set. So we met with her the first week of March. We had a trip that next week. Then when we came back that weekend of the 19th of March, we started looking. So we looked the 19th, the 20th, the 21st, and also I believe the 22nd. And we did a pre-qualification around that same time, which we officially applied on that Sunday, March 20th. We did get our pre-qualification back the next day on March 21st. We met with a sales agent of the community we ended up buying in on March 23rd. And then we put in an offer on March 24th. We got our offer accepted and the contract meeting on March 25th. So it was like about, basically, we started looking on Saturday. We had the home and the purchase contract signed on a Friday. Then you have to get what's called as your purchase contract ratified, meaning the seller or the builder basically signs and it's like, okay, we're in agreement right now. So that was ratified on Sunday, a couple of days later, which sometimes it can take up to a week to do. So thankfully it was pretty quick. So the things that I've kind of like picked up on so far and tips or whatever is, one, having a great realtor is very important that understands intimately the communities in the area, the types of questions you should ask, just little nuances, understanding who's good to work with from their perspective and who isn't, someone who's available, communicative, and is really going to try to advocate for you. So this process has been, as stress-free as possible, just because we really trust our realtor. So I think the process becomes a lot easier. I can't imagine doing this thing without representation, because it's so much complicated kind of jargon and so many just like little timelines and just things that the average person just doesn't have to deal with, especially if you've never owned a home before. So it's crazy. I can't see how people do this by themselves. Then I think it's really important to be brutally honest with yourself. So there were certain areas of town that we were considering purchasing in, certain communities. And, just because we could get a quote unquote better deal, get more bang for our buck in terms of a house. And while that's probably good, and obviously it just really depends on what's most important to you and what isn't. But, you are going to be there for the foreseeable future. It's not like you can, pick up and move after a year or what have you. Of course, you could sell it if you wanted to, and if you're in a good position to. But like, you really have to just don't short yourself on the things that you want, just trying to like maybe get a better deal. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. And like, the whole point of this is to not lower your quality of life. So like, if it's going to inhibit you from seeing your family or inhibit you from doing the things that you love based on where you live, you should probably be really honest with yourself about that. So that's one. Drive-through, like the areas, our realtor kept recommending it to us. So she never would sway us one way or the other. She would just like listen to our suggestions and say, you know what, just go drive through and kind of see how things make you feel. And so we saw several communities where it was just like, this is cool, but it just kind of wasn't, wasn't how we were feeling, us, like not ideal. You know what I mean? So you have to like go immerse yourself. Of course, like now the market is so hot, it's difficult to, like, I know people personally that put offers on things they haven't even seen. They haven't even been to the area. And while that may or may not be necessary, for you to do, it's important at least to like go and drive around and kind of see, how is it making you feel? And do it with a sense of urgency, of course, because it's not like, especially right now, you got like tons of time to make choices. So this is a big one. So see as many floor plans and models as possible for example, like there are things that you may not, I've lived in apartments, for like all of my adult life. I lived in a house, growing up, but it was like, it's just kind of your family house. You know what I mean? It's not something that you think about in terms of what you would really prefer, just because it was a choice that wasn't made for you. However, you would see a floor plan and you would think like, oh, okay, this is cool. But there are certain things that kind of will throw you off. So for example, like there were some floor plans where you open up the front door and there's no like entryway. It just kind of walks right into your family room or your living room or whatever it is. And, like there were just certain little quirks like that, or having a bathroom in a certain place, or a laundry room in a certain place, which again, aren't huge deals, but like that's certain things you should keep track of that you don't like, in terms of a floor plan. So you can kind of keep a mental list, in my case, a physical list of things where it's like, I don't really love that in a floor plan, you know what I mean? Because a floor plan really can make or break a space. Like you can do lots of different things, like depending on the size of your home, it can feel much larger or much smaller depending on how the floor plan is set up. You know what I mean? So a floor plan is very important, especially when you're building. Now, with that said, when you are building, this is something that I didn't quite realize. But builders, at least in the area that I live in, they release a certain amount of homes at a certain time. So it's not like, you know, with their models, they're going to soup it up and make sure it has like all the top updates and, you know, like all the upgrades, and they'll probably have their biggest floor plan in that particular collection and all that good stuff. However, that may or may not, like, you likely won't be able to get that combination of things in building a home. So like, even if I'm trying to like figure out a way to describe this. Even if like you want a specific floor plan, you will be gambling basically on whether or not they're going to release the particular style of home that you like in a particular collection. And also, if you're getting on the website for the builder and you see a certain collection, they're not going to build that floor plan everywhere. So you kind of have to like not fall in love with the floor plan, because likely the odds of you getting that exact combination and that exact intersection of things is not very high, just based on how they release them. And, you know, you may or may not be ready to buy in a certain time if they release it. And they also, even on new construction homes, there's like bidding processes depending on the builder and like their rules and all that. So it's absolutely crazy. So I would not recommend falling in love with a particular, like a very specific floor plan, but just seeing as much as you can to know, like, I like this, I don't like this, that type of thing. And then, as I mentioned, also understanding, like, they're going to show you the most souped up model, like they do with cars, you know, and then you fall in love with it, and then you end up paying more than what you realize, because a lot of the things that they'll put in the model homes, if they have them, are like upgrades and stuff like that. So I hope that that makes sense. But they tactfully create certain types of models, and you likely won't, your exact one is likely not going to be what you may or may not have seen. Or like, if you see on their website they have a certain model, they may not be building it in that area, you know, the type of thing. So it's very, very odd, and I hope that that made sense. But it's not as like it's not as plug and play, or as you select a lot and you can kind of do whatever you want as one would think. You know what I mean? So yeah, unless you build like a fully custom house, which, you know, most people aren't doing. So anyway, also another tip, if you're a first time, you know, builder, you know, purchasing a home, a lot of the homes that they are doing now, at least in my area, are inventory. So meaning the builder and the design center have selected these items for you. So if you're going into this thinking, oh, I can, you know, do this, tweak this, blah, blah, blah. Of course you can, but after you close on the home, they will have selected all of it. And that's basically how the home is going to be built. So you kind of have, like, meaning the color of the cabinetry and all that. Just because with all of the delays and the shortages and things like that going on, it's easier for them to select everything for you. So you can make changes afterward. But a lot of the times they're just what they call market homes or inventory homes, where they've built them, like they're building them, but you don't really have much of a say so in terms of like colors and fixtures and things like that, because it's just easiest for them. However, you know, you do have some choice. Like they'll usually, you know, in particular homes, they'll show you what the fixtures are going to look like, the paints, etc. And then, you know, if it happens to line up with the kind of things that you like, then it worked out. And that's the case with us. It happened to work out for the most part in the types of things that we liked in a home and upgrades and things like that. Hope that makes sense. So while trying to make all these decisions, it is important that you are decisive. And like, I'm a decisive person, both my partner and I are, but literally in a blink of an eye, you can fall in love with something and it will be gone. Like, so you have to be prepared to prioritize and be like, this is important to me, this is not important to me, and be able to make a decision quickly, like within hours, a day, you know, otherwise it could be gone in an instant. You know what I mean? Like, and even our realtor would recommend to us, if you have to go over, know how much you want to go over by. Like, you have to be prepared to make those types of choices, because if you drag your feet, your home will be gone. I could not stress this enough. So yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. And it's hard because, of course, I don't believe in making decisions from a desperate place, but if you are not prepared to make a choice, you won't have a choice in the matter anymore. So it doesn't seem fair. You should be able to take all the time that you want to like make this choice and like make this big purchase and what have you. But nowadays you just kind of really don't. So that sucks. This is one thing that really tripped me out, right? Like, you can equally really love something about a house and equally not at the same time. So that's why it's so important to like prioritize, because like, for example, it's not a need, but I really wanted to be able to like have a hot tub, you know, have a pool in our neighborhood, that type of thing. So it's like we have basically everything we want in a house, but our neighborhood is small and we have no pool. Like I'm not allowed to have a hot tub based on our HOA. None of that. So it's like I equally love everything in the house, but you know, some of these things that are very important to me, like being able to relax and things like that, have a pool in the summertime. It's hot where we live, okay? Don't have that. So it's like you can equally have something that you really like or close to equal, and then like something that you really don't like at the same time. And you just really have to, I can't stress enough, determine what's most important to you, because you likely just won't get every single thing you want. You can get most of what you want, but you just have to determine like what it is that you're able to give up, or what is willing, you know, best for you to give up. So we compromised, and like we may go, you know, to a fancy gym to get like a nice pool and, you know, like a jacuzzi and stuff. And, you know, there are benefits too. So like, for example, our HOA is lower because we don't have a pool in our neighborhood, and our neighborhood's a little bit smaller. You know what I mean? So like there's trade-offs, but it's like, you know, most apartments have a pool, right? Like most apartments, you can get a general floor plan that you decently like, but with housing communities, when you're building, and it may or may not be like that, and you have to give up stuff. So it's pretty interesting. And then like, so we love our floor plan and everything, but like there's this one little aspect, like there's a bathroom on near our kitchen, like a powder room. And we're like, what? I don't want anyone going to the bathroom, buy my food. You know what I'm saying? So like, even that, we still purchased the home when we got the home and love it. But like, that's even one thing where it's just like, huh? We don't want that. So yeah, there are just certain things like that. And then finally, what we decided to add on. So even like I said, you know, they made most of the choices for us, the upgrades and all that good stuff, which all of them we love. So I just can't wait. It's going to be so great. I'm like glad that we got this house, but also now I'm just so excited to move in, even though it's going to be a little while. But anyway, what I was going to say was you can choose to add blinds to your house for a certain amount. So we did do that. Our realtor was like, yeah, I think that's a good thing to do, because our home has tons of windows, and like adding blinds and putting them up is just going to be so much work, and it really wasn't like that huge of a cost. So we did end up getting the blinds. Our townhome comes with a stove, a microwave, and a dishwasher already. We just need to get the washer and dryer and the fridge. And so we had the option, our community, they have several models to choose from, and then you can select and have them put in and ready to go when you move in for, you know, the cost of the appliance. But we decided to purchase our own. We did not get those just because we wanted to make sure to like really read the consumer reports and get, you know, one that's really highly rated and things like that. So I did look at the consumer reports. None of the models really that were kind of highly rated in terms of energy conservation and things like that were able to be chosen. So we just decided to nix the convenience and make sure to get a washer and dryer that we like are really into. So that was it. So, I mean, after I just worried about that, I feel like this vlog is gonna be like 45 minutes or an hour, but that is part 1 of our house hunting video. And I can't wait to keep this going. Our home has framing up to the 3rd floor, so that's great. And I'm excited for this whole little series. I have lots of things that are like running through my brain. I can't wait to just continue this. First time home buyer, it is so crazy, and I just appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're doing this at the same time, let me know. Like, I never expected for us to buy a house right now. It's honestly crazy, but this is just kind of the journey right now, and we are very pumped, and I will see you on the next video in part 2. And let me know if you want to see anything else in particular. So, bye.